Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're having an amazing day and welcome back to the channel. In this video, you're going to learn how to set up the DJI OM7 and the OM7P, how to use them, and how to change some of the most important settings. So grab a coffee or a drink and let's jump into it. The first thing to do is to charge the battery using a power brick and a supplied USB-C cable. Plug the cable on this USB-C port on the left side of the gimbal. When the gimbal is charging, you will see this battery icon blinking. When it's fully charged, this battery icon will turn off, and to fully charge the gimbal, it will take about 2 hours. To extend the built-in tripod, you need to grab this section at the bottom of the gimbal and pull it down. Now, extend each of the legs and this will let you place the gimbal on a flat surface. To retract the tripod, fold each leg just like this, and then push all the legs up together at the same time. On windy conditions or if the surface is not even, I recommend using a regular tripod which you can attach on the lower section of the gimbal. Inside the box, you'll find this magnetic clamp that goes on your smartphone. Before you mount it, make sure that this icon is pointing towards the camera. Now, you need to place the clamp right in the center of the phone by attaching one of the legs on one side and then pulling the other one like this. Pay attention to the position of the clamp. It is very important to notice that it has to be straight. To unfold the gimbal, grab this arm and pull it upward. As soon as you do that, the gimbal will go into a standby mode, waiting for you to attach the phone with a magnetic clamp. And to do so, you need to align these pogo pins with these connectors on the gimbal. Once you place the phone on the OM7, it will balance and position the phone in a vertical or horizontal position, depending on the last orientation that was used. If you don't attach the phone after 30 seconds, the OM7 will go into sleep mode, so at that point, all you have to do is press the M button once to enable the stabilization. If this is the first time using this gimbal, you will have to activate it. First, you need to download the DJI MIMO app on the App Store. If you are using an Android device, you need to open your internet browser and go to the DJI website and get the app on the download section. Turn on the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on your smartphone. Open the MIMO app and agree to their terms of use. Tap this icon at the bottom to connect the gimbal with the app, and then follow the indications to accept or decline the different permissions to finish the activation process. Once you finish, tap this message up here to start the firmware update. If you bought the OM7P, you will find this multifunctional module inside the box. This has to be attached on this side of the clamp that has the connectors. It can be placed facing forward or backward depending on your needs, and to remove the module, you need to press this button in the back of the module and then pull it out. To use the fill light, you can turn it on by pressing this button on the module once. To increase the brightness, you need to keep pressing the same button once, and after getting to the maximum level, it will turn off. And to adjust the color temperature, press this other button on the module. You can also control the fill light using the wheel on the left side. Press and hold the wheel to turn the light on or off, and to change the brightness or the color temperature, rotate the wheel clockwise or counterclockwise. This multifunctional module has a tracking sensor that will allow you to track a human subject. You can use any app inside your phone, and this works with iPhones or Android devices as well. The sensor must be facing the subject, and there are two ways to activate it. The first option is to press the trigger once, and the sensor will start tracking if there is a subject in the center of the frame. The second option is to show your hand like this for about a second. And one thing that you will notice when the sensor is tracking someone is that this indicator light will turn green. You can use the V gesture to start a countdown to a start or stop recording, or to take a picture if you're using photo mode. You are going to see a yellow indicator blink for about 3 seconds, and for this to work, the OM7 and your smartphone have to be connected via Bluetooth. To change the composition, you can use this gesture and the light indicator will turn yellow. You can now move to the position that you want and show the same gesture to confirm the composition. This can also be done by using the joystick to move the camera and set the position of your subject where you want. To stop tracking, you can press the trigger once. or you can show your hand once again until the green indicator turns red. And this color means that the tracking is on standby. If this light indicator is off, it means that the module has not been used for more than 5 minutes and is currently on sleep mode. To reactivate or exit this mode, just press the trigger once. The multifunctional module can also be used as a receiver with 1 or 2 DJI Mic Mini transmitters. You need to use this short cable to connect your smartphone to the module. Make sure that the tip that has this icon goes on the module. To pair a transmitter, press and hold this button on the module until these 2 light indicators start flashing rapidly. Turn the transmitter on by pressing the power button for about 2 seconds, and then press and hold the link button for a few seconds until these lights start flashing. When the connection is successful, the light indicator on both devices will stop flashing and will turn solid green or yellow if noise cancellation is on. And to enable or disable noise cancellation, press the power button on the transmitter once. If you want to track objects or animals, you will need to use the tracking feature inside the DJI MIMO app. Inside the app, you can use the trigger to start tracking the subject in the center of the frame, or you can draw a box on the subject that you want to track. To stop tracking, you can press the trigger once, or you can tap the X on the corner of the green box. The trigger in the back of the gimbal also has other functions. If you double press it, it will recenter the camera, and if you triple press it, it will rotate the phone 180 degrees. If you press, release, and hold the trigger, it will enter a sport mode, and this will make the gimbal react faster to your movements. This is useful for fast-moving subjects or if you need to reframe as quick as possible. This wheel on the left side can be rotated to zoom in or out, or you can use it to focus manually, but be aware that these functions only work inside the DJI MIMO app. To switch between zoom control and manual focus, you need to press the wheel once. If you have the basic DJI OM7 instead of the OM7P, instead of a wheel, you will have a slider that can be used for zoom control. On the main panel, this is a joystick and this will let you move the camera around. Pressing this button here will switch between the rear and the front-facing camera, and if you press it twice, it will change the orientation of the phone to horizontal or vertical mode. The red button is the shutter, and pressing it once will take a picture or it will start or stop recording a video. To turn the gimbal on, press the M button once, and to turn it off, press and hold the M button for about 2 seconds. When the gimbal is off and folded, you can press this button to check the battery level. This M button also allows you to change the different gimbal modes by pressing it once, and the current mode will be indicated on the display with a unique icon. The 4 gimbal modes that can be changed with the M button are the following. On pan and tilt follow, the roll axis is going to be locked, so the gimbal will follow your movement when you pan and tilt. This mode is useful to make tilt reveal shots, for example, to tilt up or down from the ground. The next mode is pan follow, and here the tilt and the roll axis are going to be locked, so the gimbal will follow your movement when you pan left or right. This mode is useful for panning movements, for orbit shots, and is also ideal for vlogging videos. The next mode is FPV, and here all 3 axes are unlocked and they will follow your movement in any direction. This mode is useful for creative shots where you want to have more freedom in your movements. And the last mode that you can select is spinshot. This mode will let you spin the camera around, and here you need to use the joystick to make the smartphone rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. If you want the camera to spin faster or slower, you have to change the speed of the joystick inside the menu of the DJI MIMO app. To activate lock mode, you need to press and hold the trigger. In this mode, all 3 axes are going to be locked, so it doesn't matter how you move the gimbal, the camera will always point in the same direction. This mode is useful for push-in or pull-out movements or when you want to do side tracking videos. On the display panel, the color of the battery icon indicates the battery level. Green means it's over 60%, yellow means it's between 20 and 60%, red means it's between 5 and 20%, and if it's blinking red, the OM7 has less than 5% of battery remaining. This icon at the top is the indicator status, and a solid green means it's connected to your smartphone, but if it's flashing, it means that it's not connected. The extension rod can be used to show more background when doing selfie videos. To use this, grab this section of the gimbal and pull the extension upwards. At the top, you can adjust this hinge to set the angle that you need. The OM7 can be used to take low-angle shots, and the extension rod can help to get the smartphone closer to the ground. For this, you need to flip the OM7 clockwise or counterclockwise until the gimbal is upside down. And to go back to the upright position, do the same movement to reset the position of the smartphone. You can use the DJI MIMO app to record videos or change the settings of the gimbal. On the right side, you can select the camera mode that you want to use, for example, video mode, slow motion, photo mode, time-lapse, and so on. This icon here will switch between the back and the front camera. This icon is the shutter button, and it will start recording, stop recording, or take a picture if you are on photo mode. This icon is going to open this submenu where you can turn the smart capture on, and this will identify the people in the frame that can be tracked by placing a white box on all of them. This will make it easier to switch between subjects by tapping that box on the screen. The next option is to use gesture controls. To activate this feature, select this option up here. You can now select follow and shoot, which is going to track you and start recording automatically at the same time when you show your hand or do the V sign in front of the camera. The other option is going to start recording or take a picture when you make a hand gesture, but it will not track you. Down here, this icon is the playback button, and if you press it, it will open the folder where you can watch your videos or pictures. On the top right corner, we have a few indicators. The one on the far left is the gimbal battery level. The next one is the smartphone battery level. This other one is the flash status. Then we have the gimbal mode, which is not very helpful because of the small size. And the last icon indicates if the side wheel is set to control the zoom or if it's set to focus manually. On the left column, this icon will take you to the DJI MIMO app home screen. And if you need to go back to the camera interface, tap on this icon over here. This icon here is where you can select manual or auto settings. You can increase or decrease the exposure compensation down below, and if you select manual settings, you're going to be able to change the ISO and the shutter speed. Use this icon over here to select the resolution. This is for 720p, this one is for 1080p, and the last one is 4K resolution. Below those options, you can select the frame rate that you want to use, but be aware that most Android smartphones will not be able to record using 24 or 60 frames per second. The next icon is going to let you activate beauty effects. There are different options to choose from, and with this slider, you are going to be able to increase or decrease the amount of this effect. These beauty effects are not going to work if you want to record in 4K, so you need to drop the resolution down to a maximum of 1080p. The three dots on this corner is going to open the menu where you can change different settings. On the video tab, you can manually set the white balance with one of these presets. This option will open this submenu where you can activate or turn off the grid lines on the screen. The next option will turn on or off the face track feature. If it's on, the camera will automatically track you when you switch to the front-facing camera. Press this icon to open the settings for the Multifunctional Module. You can drag this slider to the left or the right to change the follow speed of the tracking sensor. Slow can be used if you want very smooth movements, but you risk having your subject stepping out of the frame, and a higher value will move the gimbal in a much faster way. For most cases, I do recommend to use this between 20 and 26. The next option will let you disable the gesture controls to start or stop tracking and the one to start or stop recording. This can be helpful if you don't want to activate any of those commands by accident. Press this icon here to open the gimbal settings. Here you can select the gimbal mode that you want to use, but honestly, I recommend to use the physical M button on the gimbal. This option here is going to let you select how fast you want the gimbal to follow your movements when you move the gimbal around. I usually set this on slow for a more cinematic look in my videos, and it's also easier to control so the gimbal doesn't make sudden moves. The next option is going to let you start the gimbal calibration process. Before you start this, place the gimbal down on a flat surface, start the calibration, and it should be done in about 25 seconds. And with this option, you can manually adjust the horizon level if you feel that the horizon is not straight, although in most cases, this happens because the clip is not correctly placed on the phone. This other option will let you select the default and current mode for the side wheel. You can set this to zoom, to manually focus, or none of these options. This option here will let you select how fast the gimbal moves when you move the joystick. My recommendation is to use a medium speed, and for the joystick control option, the default is set to free, and this will enable the joystick to move the smartphone in 8 different directions, or you can limit this movement to horizontal or vertical only. All the way at the bottom, you will find these two options for the tracking that is done inside the MIMO app, as well as the one on the tracking module. Keep composition will make the camera use the current framing at the moment when you start tracking. If this option is off, when you start tracking, the gimbal will position the subject in the center of the frame. The next option should be on by default, and this will allow the gimbal to move up and down when tracking a subject. If this option is set to off, the gimbal will only move left and right. If you press this icon here, it will open the general settings. Here you will find the basic information about your gimbal. Here you can start a beginner tutorial if you don't like this one, and all the way down, you can reset all the gimbal settings. Time lapses are probably one of the most popular camera modes, and to make one, you have to select it on the camera mode on this side of the screen. You need to open this new menu at the top to select a few options. The duration is how long you want the camera to be doing the time lapse. The interval is the time that will pass between two shots. For example, if you select half a second, it will take one shot or frame every half second. For crowds or people, the recommendation is to use 0.5 or 1 second intervals. For clouds, 2 seconds is the recommendation and 3 seconds for sunsets. The duration of the final video clip can be checked up here on this row, and this will depend on the combination of the duration and the interval that you chose. For example, if I select an interval of 2 seconds with a duration of 20 minutes, my final time-lapse video clip will be 25 seconds long. Time-lapse mode is how the gimbal will behave when it's recording the time-lapse. Fixed angle will make the gimbal point in the same direction for the entire duration. You can select left to right or right to left, and the gimbal will slowly move in that direction. And the last option is going to let you select a custom movement. Move the gimbal with the joystick to select the start position and tap the plus sign. Then use the joystick again to move the gimbal to the end position and tap the plus sign once again. You can add more positions if you want to, using the same steps, and when you're ready to record, just press the shutter button on the gimbal or on the screen. I hope that you found this tutorial useful, and if you have any questions or just want to say hello, please do so in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a like. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!